Students, I, Dr. Vijayendra Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English. Presently, I am posted at Government College, Gudha, Jammu. Today, I am going to deliver a lecture on a world famous poem, Elegy written in a country churchyard, composed by Thomas Gray. The poem is one of the greatest and most popular of English poems. For this single poem, Gray stands at the head of all the English elegiac poets and holds for all ages to come his unassailable and sovereign station. Elegy is perhaps the most widely known poem in English. So, keeping all these things in view, we can understand the value of this poem for the students. So, I have decided to give you line wise line explanation of this poem, and it will take 3 videos to complete it. First of all, we would like to discuss what is an elegy. As we know, commonly know, elegy deals with the subject of death. It is a poem composed by any poet to mourn the death of some near and dear ones. It is a lyric. Lyric means where the poet expresses spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings on any kind of emotion, but here the emotion is of sorrow and despair. It is a sad poem, you can say, and it is a lament as the person who is dead is presented as something great. His death is shown as a great loss to mankind, and poet imaginatively involves all the nature and other things and shows that it is a great loss to mankind. This is elegy. The present poem, that is the elegy written in a country churchyard, is one of the 5 greatest English elegies. The other 4 are Milton's Lycidas, Shelley's Adonais, Tennyson in Memoriam, and Arnold Thyresis. What I want to say is this: if a student of English literature does not know about this poem, it means he has not study language literature, English literature. This poem, the elegy, was begun at Stoke Poges in 1742 and completed in 1750. In all, the poem took 8 years with long interruptions. It was composed or meditated in the churchyard at Stoke Poges, where the poet's aunt and mother took residence after his father's death. It is outside the village. It is a churchyard, and the poet is there, and he meditates on what thoughts come into his mind. He presents before the audience or before us. It was published in 1751. The poem invokes the classical idea of memento mori, a Latin phrase which states plainly to all mankind, remember that you must die. That is, the speaker considers the fact that in death there is no difference between great and common people. The feelings and the thoughts expressed in this poem are permanent and of universal nature. This poem is famous because of this quality or these characteristics also. It is a long poem of 128 lines. There are 32 stanzas of 4 lines each. In order to make every student understand it easily, I have decided to give you explanation of all the 32 stanzas in my videos. I have decided to do it in 3 videos. This is my first video. In order to do the explanation, which is very common for you, as you know that there is a compulsory question for reference to context. In it, we have to 4 things in view when we make an explanation of any poem or any stanza. The first is context. Context means the source of the lines, name of the poet, the year of publication, etc. And then we try to explain what is given in those lines quoted for the purpose of explanation. And then we make certain critical comments also, that what are the peculiar things for these lines that the poet has stated in these lines. Now let us begin. The first stanza of the poem is: the curfew tolls the knell of parting day. Curfew. Curfew means a kind of bell. In olden days, during Gray's time, this bell was rung in order to remind all the people that it is now evening and all the people should extinguish their fire and go to bed. Tolls means rings, knell, death bell of the parting day, the day which has come to an end. That is, the poet is standing somewhere and he hears the ringing of curfew bell. And at the same time, the lowing herd wind slowly over the lea. Lowing means producing natural sound, herd, group of cattle, maybe cows, etc. Wind walking in zigzag manner, not straight manner, over the lea. Lea means meadows. The cattle, after grazing throughout the day, they are returning to their home and they are moving in a zigzag manner, not in a straight manner. The ploughman homeward plods his weary way. The ploughman who has been working throughout the day after his day's work, now he is also returning to his home and he is very tired. The poet has used the weary way. Weary way is an example of transferred epithet. In transferred epithet, the adjective modifies the absent noun. Here the way is not tired, but the person, that is the ploughman who is walking on the way, is tired and leaves the world to darkness and to me. And the poet finds himself in the utter darkness and there is complete silence all around him. From this line we can say the pictorial quality, that is the poet has painted a picture which is very clear before us. So I have also given explanation in detail. You can read it. Now the second stanza now fades. Fades here means disappear, slowly going away. The glimmering, shining, faintly visible landscape on the side. What the poet wants to say, that the landscape which was faintly visible is now slowly and slowly becoming invisible. That is, they are coming under the impression of darkness. And all the air a solemn stillness holds. And throughout the atmosphere, a calm and solemn atmosphere is experienced by the poet, that there is a complete silence, there is no one to disturb him. Save, this is an obsolete word. In Gray's time, save means except, where the beetle wheels his droning flight. Droning producing a dull humming sound, bees, insect. The insect, they are moving round and round and they are producing their humming sound. And drowsy tinkling, drowsing, sleepy, tinkling, ringing, Lull, sent to sleep the distant folds. Folds here means enclosure where sheep or cows are kept. Here particularly sheep are kept. The idea is the sheep are having bell tied around their neck when in the sleep or in a drowsy state they move their head, a sound is produced. The poet imagines the sound produced by the bell doing the job of lullaby, and all the kettles are going to sleep under the impression of that sound. Now the third, the poet again is producing an evening scene suitable for meditation. He says, save from yonder, over there, ivy mantle tower. Ivy is a creeper, mantle covered tower. There is a tower which is covered by creepers. The moping owl. Moping means melancholy, sad. Owl does to the moon complain. Of such as wandering. Wandering means moving without having any aim. Near the secret bower. Secret bower, its resting place, its residence, which is hidden from rest of the animals. Molest, disturb. Molest means disturb or attack her ancient solitary reign. Reign means here residence. The idea is the in all the four lines there is one idea. Here we are given the image of an owl. In English mythology, owl is presented as a beloved and the moon as a lover in mythology. And it appears in this line that there is a tower. Tower is covered with creepers, and in that tower there lives an owl, and it is hooting. It is giving out a natural sound as if it is complaining to her lover, the moon, about the foreigner or unwanted creature who disturb their solitariness or loneliness. So, in all these three stanzas, we have seen the poet has created an atmosphere of evening and solitariness. In fourth stanza, beneath those rugged elms, the poet is standing somewhere, and from there he can see a churchyard. Rugged means rough. Elms a kind of tree that yew trees shade. Yew is a long tree, it is a kind of tree where heaves one grows the turf grass in many a moldering heap. Moldering going to be into small pieces. The poet says that from where he is standing, he can see that there is a area, and in that area there are many heap where grass is growing, and these heaps are under the rough elms and a tree's shade. The poet imagines that these heaps are not heaps, but these are graves. They are situated very near to each other, each in his narrow cell forever laid. Cell here means grave. These the rude forefathers of Hamlet sleep. Hamlet, small village, forefathers, ancestors. Rude here means illiterate, unknown, obscured. The people or the ancestor of the village who are buried in the churchyard, their graves are situated very near to each other, and they have been sleeping permanently. There is no chance of coming back to life. They have slept permanently in their graves. There is no, you can say, chance of any kind of disturbance. Now, as it is one of the finest elegies in English language, and it is addressed and it is written in keeping in common people in mind or in view. Here, in the coming two or three stanzas, the poet will try to present before us what kind of life these people used to live when they were alive. In the stanza fifth, the breezy call of incense breathing more, incense sweet smelling air of the morning, the swallow twittering chirping from the straw built shed, the cock's shrill clarion. Let us take one by one line. The breezy call, when these people were alive, they used to get up early in the morning by the sweet smelling air of the morning, or by the chirping sweet sound of the swallows which made their nest in straw built shed, or the coxswain clarion, or when they were alive, they used to get up by the crowing of the cock in the morning, or the echoing horn, or either the horn which was played on by huntsmen when they were going to do hunting early in the morning. These were the ways by which they used to get up when they were alive. But now the time has changed. They are now sleeping permanently in their graves. No more shall rouse means wake up them from their lowly bed. That is their graves. Now, none of these activities, neither the sweet smelling air, neither the chirping of swallows, crowing of cock, or echoing of horn, will rouse them. They have slept. They are sleeping permanently in their graves. There is no chance. Now, stanza 6. For them no more the blazing hearth shall burn. Now, as I told you earlier, this these people used to enjoy simple domestic pleasures when they were alive. They used to do their jobs in the fields and they used to return at the time of evening. When they used to come back, return to their homes, their wives used to keep burning fire in the hearth, fireplace, so that they can warm themselves. And they also used to do their evening duties such as washing, cooking, etc., to make their life comfortable. The idea is they used to enjoy simple domestic pleasures when they were alive. Now, nothing of that kind will happen again. Nobody will burn, or their wives will not make fire in the fireplace for their comfortable return, and neither they will do their evening jobs to make their life comfortable. When they were alive, their children used to compete with each other to get their father's jealous king. In order to compete, the children used to speak in their childish way and used to climb their father's knees. Now, no more such thing will again happen. They will remain where they are. Nobody will wait for them. Now, the seventh stanza, we are told what kind of occupations they used to do. They were simple people, oft did the harvest crops to their sickle yield. When they were alive, they used to do the harvesting job, that is used to cut their crops, and their furrow of the stubborn glebe as broke, stubborn hard glebe earth. They used to till the land, and even the hardest earth they used to till by their powerful plow. How jocund means merrily, happily, did they drive their team afield. They used to take the team of their oxen or horses, etc. Whatever they used to do, used to use in their job to do the different kind of job at the fields. They used to go to their field happily without feeling any kind of shame. And how bowed the woods beneath their steady stroke. Steady means powerful, stroke attack. Even these people had to cut down the woods in order to prepare fields for their agriculture. Or they were very hardworking people. They sometimes used to do the work of harvester, sometimes of plowman, sometimes of tea master, and sometimes woodcutter. They used to do all the duties, all the jobs merrily. They were not ashamed of doing any kind of things. These were simple pleasures they used to enjoy. And all these stanzas show that their job was toilsome, that is, involves hard work, hard labor, but it was very fruitful for mankind and they were happy. They were not ashamed of doing any other kind of thing which nowadays many people feel ashamed of doing agriculture job, but they were very happy. Thank you.